What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be finishing the fab table. As you can see, the chair has arrived for the fab table. This is going to be what I use for welding and what all the height and everything for the legs is going to be based around for the fab table. So this is just a chair off Amazon for doctor's office, something like that. It may or may not work out that well. It's probably flammable. We're going to try it out, see what happens. And in the future, if it doesn't work out, we'll find something different. But the first thing we're going to start off with today is we're going to heat the top of this up because it did warp a little bit. We're hoping that shrinking the top and the metal a little bit back will help pull some of that out. So we're going to start by doing that, and then we're going to figure out our leg length. We want to cut it on the bandsaw and start putting her together. So let's get going. Alright, so we got the table fairly hot. I think that should be hot enough to do something. Feels pretty warm. I need to take my sweatshirt off now, but hopefully it'll pull some of the warp out and shrink the top back a little bit, but we'll find out. Worst case, it doesn't change it at all. And not the end of the world. It'll still be a good table for me and everything. I'll probably build on it. And worst case, someday I'll remake it. And like I said in the previous video, I've totally changed how I've designed this table anyway already, so if I decide to, I can always remake it. Not the end of the world. Alright guys, so what we're going to use for wheels, since I want this to be movable around the shop, these are just high rated. I think they're 350 pound rated from Harbor Freight swivel. I probably should have got a couple that lock, but I couldn't find any at Harbor Freight that were also still rated for this amount, so I might do some digging online if I don't like the fact that they don't lock. But we're going to use these. Grab some bolts. I grabbed some 5/8 bolts, and I've already ground off the coating so that we can weld these to plates, and then this will get welded to another plate on the bottom of the leg. That will give us adjustability to level the table out as best as we can, or even then give us a little height adjustment if we want, whatever. So no big deal there. I will have to go design up and cut mount plates for the bottom of these. I already did make up ones for the tube for the bottom of the table and inserts for the tube for the bottom of the adjusters. Let me grab those. So, I already cut these when I did Sam's alternator bracket just for time savings and whatnot. This will go on the inside of the tube, and we'll weld the nut to this side and then weld this into the tube. This will go on the outside, weld to the table and the tube. Pretty easy, not too big a deal there, but that'll give us nice solid mounting. Easy solution. So, if you want to see, it'll kind of sit like this. Like so, and shouldn't be too bad. So just gotta figure out length and everything we want, and we'll get going. Okay, so what I decided on was about 25-inch leg lengths, and we'll rig up the bandsaw and get those cut out. I decided to do 32 inches. That would make the top 30 from the bottom of the leg, minus out 5 for the wheel, and then minus 2 more inches to account for these adjusters. That should give us plenty of play. This is 3.5, so that we should have some meat past the nut in the tube as well, and that should be just fine. So I think that'll work out about where, and we'll be able to adjust the height a little bit with the legs and also the level. So we're gonna get the bandsaw set up and start cutting. Alright guys, it's been a little bit. I got the lower mount stuff set up for the legs to mount to the rollers, or to the wheels, whatever you want to say. Went and programmed that real quick. Table's all set up, ready to cup, so we're going to set you up on the stand. I'm going to try and use as much scrap as I can to do this before I put a fresh sheet, or close to a fresh sheet, on the table and finish cutting out whatever's left. So, we're going to get to her. Guys, so what we got going is everything's prepped and ready to go. We're gonna start doing some of the welding, and I'll show you what I got going for the bottom legs, the adjuster side. So just a real simple thing. Put a hole through. We're gonna put the bolt. We already ground off the coating of that, so this will make sure it's sitting flush and straight, even though I didn't grind that straight necessarily. The flange head should make sure it's square to the plate here. So we just snug that up a little bit, not too tight, just finger tight, and then we'll ground this out, and we'll just TIG weld this onto the little plate, and then these will sit in the bottom of the legs like so, and we'll put a bevel on them, or not a bevel, but they'll sit out like this, and then we'll just weld on the outside, and that should be plenty strong. If I was thinking ahead, I probably would have made the plate bigger, and so it just rested. But I think this should be fine for everything I'm doing. Worst case, it cracks and I'll redo it. But we're just going to do that and time lapse this, and we'll get her going. Well, it's another morning. Good morning, YouTube. We're going to get started on welding up the legs here. What we're going to do this morning is we're just going to take the tube ends here. Got these. We're going to get them in here and kind of set where I want them. Maybe with a little gap like that. We'll tack one side. Then we'll use the gauge finder to make sure it's square. Put another tack on, put some tacks on, and then we'll just weld these up. No big deal. We're going to run through all 4 of these real quick, then we'll start working on the other side. Alright guys, you can kind of see what we got going. Just put some little beads on the end. No big deal. So that's the bottom side's all done. We're going to flip the table over. We're going to mark roughly 2 inches down from the end of these and grind the paint a little, or not the paint, but the mill scaling a little bit, just so it welds up easier. Got the other 3 over here. Then we'll flip this upside down. Start marking them out because the table is warped. We're gonna put them in there, set them kind of where we want them, make sure they look as square as we can, and then we'll tack them, and each leg will go back to wherever we put it. I'm really liking having a chair with a back. My back is hurting way less, so that's good. So. Well guys, it's the next day here. I had a buddy swing by real quick and help me flip the table over. Some of the footage got lost of me welding up the bottom mounts and everything, but real simple, just welded a bolt to the bottom of that where the Harbor Freight casters were gonna mount to. No big deal. I did have to egg out the casters just a little bit with a drill bit because the holes were inconsistent. Go figure, something from Harbor Freight not being perfect. That's alright, but there she is. Not too bad, not perfect, but should do the job. I might add in some braces at some point, but the legs feel real sturdy for now and should work just fine for what I'm doing. It's mostly going to live its life on this wall back here, so no big deal there. If I think they need it, I will add it and we'll go from there. As you can see, that's kind of my caster setup. Bought way too long of bolts, but I was just guessing, so shouldn't be too bad. But thanks for watching the build process of this, guys. I hope you enjoyed it a little bit or learned something or came up with a new idea for something for you to try. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.